Actually have a very exciting episode on Bake and Bants today. So I was in an antique store and I stumbled across this cookbook that was written in 1922. I like, oh my god, they actually like baked a ton of food in like back in 1922. So the book is called Wimodausis. Wimodausis. So it's basically women, daughters, and sisters sort of club for like housewives and ladies back in 1922 when women weren't really working. Anywho, so I was like, oh my god, maybe I could actually make this into a series of me just baking stuff from like the olden days and see basically what they used to do when they were housewives. So anywho, I went really easy today. I'm gonna be baking scones or scones. So I'm gonna be baking scones today. So it's not really a difficult recipe because I'm like, oh, what do I even have available? And I had like baking soda and I had flour. I basically had everything you could use to make a scone. I just ran out to get some jam. So yeah, I'll show you how they used to make a scone back in 1922. I don't think it's that much different from what we do today, but let's see. So basically what we need 2 cups of flour. Okay, so every recipe in here has the recipe owner's name. So today we're going to be making the scone by Mrs. A.J. Phillips. So it's like a buttermilk scone. So we need 2 cups of flour, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of magic baking powder. I like how they specified that it has to be magic baking powder. Like, okay, if I use a different brand, kill me. So magic baking powder, 2 handfuls of sultana raisins. I'm gonna skip the raisins because my sister doesn't like raisins, and yeah. So I'm gonna skip the raisins. A pinch of salt, 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 teaspoon of soda. I reckon that's baking soda. And 1 cup of sour milk. So they called it sour milk, but it's actually buttermilk that I'm using. So yeah, I'll show you the process of making it. Oh, basically, all she said here was she gave us the recipe and then goes bake in a square tin and mark in a scone shape. Like, what the hell? Like, what kind of recipe is that? So I've never baked a scone before. I think she was operating under the assumption that everybody knows how to make a scone. What if I have never made one before? Like, yeah, so I just bake it in a square tin. Like, how do I mix it? It doesn't stay. Anywho, so good thing I've made a scone a couple times, like once or twice in my life. So I have an idea as to how we're going to mix it. And let's do it now. So the first thing we're going to do, is we're basically going to sift all our dry ingredients. Sift it to get every lumpity lump out the flour and to also aerate it as well. And add our cold butter. And with clean hands, we're gonna go in and rub the ingredients together. So basically what I mean by rub the ingredients is just mixing the butter with the flour. And once you have a breadcrumby consistency, you're going to mix your wet ingredients. Now we're gonna add 1 egg, 1 large egg. We're gonna whisk that until it's lightly beaten. Add in the milk to the eggs and we're going to whisk that again until it's combined. Gently pour the wet ingredients into the flour and butter mixture. So again, don't overwork your dough. You don't want to have a tough scone. So just lightly mix it until it's mixed properly. And as Mrs. Phillips has suggested, you're going to transfer that into a square pan once you are done. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Mrs. Phillips, is it Mrs. or Miss? Mrs. Mrs. Phillips' scone recipe is looking a little sus, only because the batter seems a little too wet. Ideally, you want to be able to roll out the scone dough and cut it out with like a cutter. But maybe she was onto something. So anywho, I have put my oven to about 230 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna pop this in now and we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. So fingers crossed, it's actually really tasty. So the other one is in the oven, it's baking. So I decided, oh, why don't we try another scone recipe, because they are quite easy to make. So next up, we're going to try the raisin scone by, ooh. Okay, so we're going to try the raisin scone by Mrs. James Acton. So her recipe looks like it went into more detail than Mrs. Phillip. Mrs. Phillip, what the fuck, man? So Mrs. James said we have to rub in the ingredients. So she said rub into these ingredients 3/4 cup of shortening, 1 cup of sultana raisins, beat whites of 2 eggs stiff and stir into 1 cup of milk and mix into the above very lightly. Roll out on board, spread the unbeaten yolks on top and cut any desired shape and bake in the hot oven for 15 minutes. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so the fun part is the taste test time. The first raisin we're gonna try is the raisin by Mrs. Acton. Acton? Yeah, Acton. So you probably realized that I swapped out the raisin for cranberries because I didn't have enough raisins. So I used cranberries instead. And I also added like a little bit of orange oil as well. So I tweaked it to match. Oh, wow. A lot of the time you get scones that are dry. I usually buy scones, but like a lot of them are very dry. But these ones are like really soft, really fluffy. They're really soft and fluffy. And I really like it. Now we're going to try the scones for Mrs. Phillips. Like, that was a little sus. The recipe was looking a little sus when I tried this. But like now that it's baked, I'm like, what? It feels like a cake. Like it has like a really cakey texture. And it's like giant. But of course I did pack a lot of dough into the pan. So that's why it's so big and fluffy. Oh, what the hell? Okay. It's like Popeye's biscuits but times 10. Like, this is, oh God. Oh my God. And it goes so well with the jam. Oh, imagine if I had like cream. Oh goodness, I'll be in heaven. Yo, Miss Phillips, man, RIP, man, because I was doubting this your recipe, but man, it's so on point. Okay, I think let me start ending this video because I'll be here forever. Which one is the best of them? Honestly, I prefer Miss Phillips' own. I honestly prefer Miss Phillips' own. But anywho, that brings us to the end of Scone. So today we went all the way back to 1922. So I will be making a couple videos baking things from this book. There are lots of things I haven't tried. And so I'm very excited to show you more stuff from this recipe book, and we can see what it was like when a lot of us weren't even being thought about being born. So thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and I love your faces. Bye.